This past Monday against Edward Waters, going down 44-60. The Royals are traveling to Georgia to face Red Park University today and Carver College tomorrow. Good luck, ladies.
The baseball team had their annual Halloween costume scrimmage game last Friday to celebrate the holiday. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton even made an appearance and pitched the first ball.
So, Monique, did you at least place in the pumpkin contest?
No. Out of appreciation for the two female tennis players at the baseball game. That's my kind of baseball. Alright, back to business. It's a special week here on campus, and as you all know by now, Warner will be making history this Friday with the inaugural ceremony of our third president, Dr. Hope. As a reminder, there will be no classes 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12 p.m. For students who do attend the event, they will be receiving 2 spiritual growth credits. And for everyone, it is mandatory to be at the First Baptist Church in Lake Wales at 9:45 a.m. The ceremony will begin at 10 a.m. And right after the event, there will be a celebration lunch in the CAP. And also, Kona Ice will be on campus.
And there's more. At 7:30 p.m. in the courtyard, there will be carnival food, concerts, and even fireworks. And don't forget to bring your ID for the homecoming football game on Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
All right, have a great weekend, everyone.
For some fantastic events. Just a note, the football game on Saturday is at noon, not at 7:30. So I want to be sure that you have that time right so that you can be here. This is an exciting day. We have guests in the room, and I have Karen Pickett here. She is going to help present some awards related to alumni relations. So let's hear from Karen.
Good morning, University. Each year we do in the alumni office try to recognize outstanding alumni. And when Dr. Hogue arrived here, he asked that we actually do these presentations in chapel so that you guys can experience this. After all, you're going to be future alumni. So we have 3 awards to present this morning, and I've asked Reverend Don Meadows and Dr. Steve Dar to help me. And Dr. Meadows.
All right. It's my privilege on behalf of Warner University and its community to welcome and honor our 2016 Founders Award designee. The Founders Award exists to recognize Warner University ministry alumni who best exemplify and promote our mission of graduating individuals who exemplify academic excellence and Christian character, who are prepared to lead and committed to serve. The criteria for receiving the Founders Award are 10 years or more of committed service in ministry in good standing, commitment to living out a Christian worldview, and approval of the Warner University Ministry Department and Administration. This year's designee went on to attend both Anderson University and Fuller Theological Seminary, earning a Doctor of Ministry degree in theology. He has served as an ordained minister of the Church of God and has served in many leadership roles within the movement, not the least of which was 19 years as Dean of the Anderson University School of Theology, the longest tenure in the history of that school. He is a beloved pastor, respected academician, sought-after speaker, and well-known author. We affirm his work and that of his family alongside him, spent faithfully in service to the kingdom since his time at Warner University. It's my honor to present this year's Founders Award to Dr. David Sebastian. Please help me welcome this distinguished alumni.
announce the Alumni Servant Award recipient. At Warner, we are so proud of our alumni and how they represent the university. Our alumni are the face of Warner University in the community, the state, the church, in businesses, to prospective students, and to donors, distinguished in many ways. The Alumni Servant Award actually has as its inspiration a symbol right here on our campus, Love Essence. It is a representation of Jesus washing Peter's feet, Jesus being a servant. And part of our mission statement includes graduating individuals who are committed to serve. So this morning we are proud to honor an individual who has proven to be a person committed to serve. This person considered the Warner community as an extension of her family, a spiritual family, a connection that has been given to her as a gift from God. There are many stories she would share about how she was impacted by her years as a student, alumni, and adjunct professor at Warner University. Not only did she love Warner, but she loved her country. She was so proud to be an alumni of Warner University and proud to be an American. Because of those great loves in her life, she assisted me in Christmas and patriotic productions at Warner University for more than 30 years. She was a successful teacher, earned her master's and doctorate degrees, and eventually became an elementary school principal. She worked selflessly at each school that she served. She loved her children deeply. It was not unusual for her to take food to homes that were in need, pay water and electric bills for needy families. All this she did without notoriety and used her own money. This recipient was a giver. The one that we honor this day passed away on October 7th of this year. I will be accepting the award and sending it to her family. It is my honor to announce the recipient of the Warner University Alumni Servant Award, Dr. Charlie Doty Haynes.
Well, it's my privilege to introduce the 2016 Distinguished Alumni. And I might get a little emotional. I met Lee about 16 years ago. I was working in the student life office and handling some of the discipline. And that's actually how I got to meet Lee. He had to come in my office. But since then, actually we had a lot of conversations. And since then, Lee has made me nothing but proud. Lee grew up in the inner city of Cleveland, and at 13 found himself homeless. An organization called Kids Across America, which ministers to the inner city, literally saved Lee's life, both spiritually and physically. Through this organization, Lee found mentors who poured into his life, and one of those mentors led Lee to Warner. Lee was the very first person in his family to ever attend college and to graduate. He graduated in 2003 from Warner and then went on to John Brown University to receive his master's in family and youth. After marrying his wife Kim, Lee went back to the inner city to begin his ministry. He's worked in Memphis, in St. Louis, and in Dallas, Texas, which is where he is now, working with an organization called Mercy Street. Lee manages the sports side of this ministry and oversees a 20-acre sports complex, which just completed a $14 million fundraising campaign to expand. Lee has had the privilege of working with several professional athletes through Mercy Street, and in fact will be back in Dallas on Saturday to help with the Clayton Kershaw baseball camp for kids. Lee also has worked with many government and community leaders. He has met U.S. presidents, has spoken to lawmakers in Washington, and just recently worked with the community in Dallas after the recent shootings. He helped bring reconciliation in unity. Lee is a speaker and has shared his testimony all over the country, including right here at his alma mater last night with the FCA. With all of these accomplishments, I think Lee would still tell you that besides being a father and husband, his greatest accomplishment is speaking Jesus into the lives of the students he ministers to on a daily basis. Lee is passionate about his walk with Christ, and he shows that in everything he does. I'm very proud on behalf of Warner University to present Lee Jackson with the 2016 Distinguished Fellow Award.
Okay, Warner, how many basketball players, or if you've played basketball before, raise your hand. Okay, imagine being on a basketball team that leads the NCAA in all levels. 1, 2, and 3 in scoring. Imagine being on a coaching staff that wins the 1996 National Championship D1 at Kentucky. Our speaker today, George Barber, was one of the assistants on that team. Following the worship team today, let's give him a warm Warner welcome as he leads us today in worship.
Because God's children are human beings, made of flesh and blood, the Son also became flesh and blood. For only as a human being could he die, and only by dying did he break the power of the devil, who had the power of death. Only in this way did he set free all who have lived their lives as slaves to the fear of dying. We are victorious thanks to the redeeming blood of Jesus Christ. So would you stand with us this morning as we worship the one who makes us victorious?
God, through your death on the cross and your resurrection 3 days later, God. I thank you so much for the victory and the power that we can live in through your blood, Jesus, and through your sacrifice, God. I pray that we just embrace that and learn more about that this morning as the word is presented to us, Father God. I pray that we be sensitive to how your Spirit's leading, that you just soften our hearts and open up our ears, Father God. We love you and thank you so much for your love for us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Wow, thank you so much. Praise band, that was fantastic. I'm going to download that on my iPod. I'm going to jog to that. I'm going to feel like I'm fast. I love to sing. I can't sing. I'm not very good. I have my team sing a lot in our locker room. Not a very good singer, but today was the best day ever. I'll tell you why. Every time I'm in church, this is a true story, if I start singing loud, like I get into it, and I start singing loud, this happens to me every time. Like I know to sing softly. I know that, I shouldn't belt it out because this happens to me. Ever since I was a little kid, I start singing loud. I start getting into praise and worship, and the person in front of me in the aisle goes like this. I'm like, what? And so today, I'm on the front row, and nobody can turn around when I'm singing. Thank you so much, Dr. Hoke, and I know we have a lot of the board members here today. Thank you for having my wife and I, Lisa. We've been here for a couple days now. I got to attend the basketball practice. We had a great win on Tuesday night, and then we had a good practice. They had a good practice yesterday. So we've just enjoyed being here with FCA last night, about 100. My wife and I have been married for 30 years. Lisa, she's right here in the front row. She kind of waved. It was almost over after the first week or two of marriage, though. I played in a church golf outing. We'd been married just a couple weeks. And I did not know any better. I was taking the sacred and being not careful. I took my ring and I didn't have a quarter in my pocket. So women, I know you're going to be upset. I was using it for a ball marker. I know. So anyways, and I was sticking it in my pocket and it fell out. And so I realized, oh no, I don't have my ring, newly married, wife's going to meet us at the clubhouse for lunch. And so the pastor was in our group and I said, would you please kind of, smooth the way for me? Would you go and talk to him? He said, I got you, no problem, George. And so I looked 15 minutes, finally I rolled up, and I went straight to the pastor, not to my wife, new wife. And I said, did you talk to her, just move it over? He said, I didn't say a thing. Oh no. So, but anyways, luckily someone found it. I met them in a parking lot about a couple days later, gave him a $20 bill, which was a lot 30 years ago, and said, you saved my marriage, thank you. But thank you so much for inviting us here. Dr. Hogue and I have been friends for a long time. I don't normally like to do this, but I want to read. I was thinking, what are some things that I can say about Dr. Hogue? And what are some things that and I'm just going to read down a list here. When we were in college, he was the president of our Eagles Club. So you have your Spirit Club here. He was a top major in our major. He was a class leader. Best and brightest, I was telling Don Rafael that the best and brightest are always hired by admissions. He was hired by admissions and he brought me on with him there as soon as we graduated. As a vice president at Asbury, he built a $7 million athletic facility. At Greenville, where we worked, and I still work, built a communications building, coffee shop, enhancing the campus greatly. At Trinity Christian, where he's most recently been, got the largest gift, I think $21 million. We've taken students hiking to Colorado and Utah, and one night it was 15 degrees. I am not kidding you. When I pulled open that tent the next morning, I was like, I hope these kids are still alive. I felt like I was 15. Like, I don't even like to go outside when it's 15. Can you imagine sleeping out all night? We've taken kids there. Always extremely organized in survival, natural leader of nature like that. Always an encourager. Always got the job done right. Dr. Hogue crosses his T's, he dots his I's, he has great ideas, and he's very prepared, never panics. Tomorrow, you'll inaugurate your third president, and this is in his wheelhouse. I really think this is going to be a great match. I think you'll get to know him and love him like I do as well. I'm excited for you. When we were in graduate school, Dr. Hogan and I were in graduate school, we would go back and forth to the University of Kentucky, and we would ride together. It's about 17 miles. He would say, what do you want to do? You know, when we get done with school, what do you want to do with your career? And I said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I want to be an athletic director, you know, at a Christian college or school, or maybe even be a vice president or president, be an administrator. Whew, I said, that's great. I said, I just want that whistle around my neck until I'm 65. I want to coach. And I think it was because I knew he was a little bit smarter than me. I was, your former pastor, Bob Beckler, knows the coach that I work for, Jim Molinari. I've always had a problem with spelling. Never been too great at spelling. And I thought, man, I can't be an administrator or president. And maybe as a coach you can get by with it. So we were in practice one day. Coach Molinari was Coach Molinari's practice, just a hard-driving guy. And he said, he stopped the practice with us. He said, all my teams are characterized, all my practices are characterized by one word. And that word starts with a U. What's that word? And, you know, I was like, what is it? You know, I hope he doesn't call me. He called a couple of players. He says, what's the word? One player said, unselfishness. That's a good word, but that's not it. He's kind of stomping around. He's mad. Practice wasn't going well. The other player said, understanding. No, that's not the word. That's a good word. Finally, he said, the word is urgency. I went, I could have got that. I just thought it started with an E. So, I can't spell and I can't sing. Anyways, Dr. Hogan's father-in-law's here. Jim Butts, he's helped me coach. I just have to recognize a few people. His daughter Jamie was my administrative assistant for 4 years with the basketball team. Helped me grow my camps, and just unbelievably, she's very smart and very organized like her father and her mother. And we're just close to the Hogs. I think there's a picture of Dr. Hogan and I in college where we were on the cross-country team. He would always come in first. There he is. I was always in the back just encouraging people. But there we are. I mean, there we are. You know, it was quite a few years ago. And then Dr. Hogan's wife, Joanna, and I coached together. She told the story in the first hour. So listen to your teachers. We had a teacher that really championed this Title IX. You know what Title IX is? The biggest thing she said was we need to have equal rights for women in sport, you know. And so they brought us in and they said, hey, we're going to have you coach the freshman team in college. This is back in the, I think, late 90s, maybe early 2000s. And George, we want you to coach the men's team, and Joanna will be your assistant. And George, we want you to coach the women's team, and Joanna will be your assistant. And I thought about it, and I knew the Title IX thing, and I said, no, I would like to do it like this. Would you please let us do it like this? I coach the men's team. Joanna can be my assistant. She will coach the women's team. I will be her assistant. And they were going to pay me more, and I said, no, let's just give us equal pay, you know. And we did that, and it's really, tightened our friendship, Joanna and I, that we did that. And it was because of our teachers. So I tell you, students, listen to your teachers. They gave me the idea, and we followed through on it, so it was good. Our wives have run marathons together. Maybe there's another picture of that. They've done this as a Disney. I know, they're so cute. Okay, so here's what they do. They will, on consecutive days, run a 5K, which is 3 miles, a 10K, which is 6 miles, a half marathon, which is 13 miles, and then a full marathon, which is 26 miles. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they call that the dopey. I call it the stupid. But they did it. They weren't injured. So about 3 or 4 years ago, we were in Chicago, and they were going to do the Chicago Marathon. And so Dr. Hogan and I said, well, we want to cheer them on. We want to be encouraging to them. And we went to, we had it all mapped out. Like I said, he's super organized. And he's blushing because I'm telling the story. This is a true story. And so he had it mapped out, and I was just kind of holding on to his coattails as he took me to we're going to stop and cheer for ladies every three miles. You know, so 3 miles, 6 miles, 9 miles. And he had it all mapped out. We were going to ride the L and get to the next spot. And we were doing great till we got to mile 18. And the L was super full, super packed. He said, we're not going to make it. We have to wait 2 or 3 trains. So let's catch them at mile 21. They'll just have to figure we couldn't be there at mile 18. And we feel bad because we were, we thought the only thing that can keep them going is our cheering for them, which wasn't true anyways. But we got to mile 21 and we said, you know what we should do? Let's do something really special because we missed them at mile 18 to show them how much we care and we really want to encourage them. So we said, it's cold here in Chicago, let's take our shirts off. When they come by, we're going to stand out, woo, like this. So, I'm sorry, I know he's distinguished, but he's got a fun side. So we're looking, there's 40,000 people in this race, and they're coming, and there they are. Off with the shirts. Woo, way to go, ladies, way to go. They did not even look at us. They ran as they got to us without even looking at us. They said, put your shirts back on. So, we learned a lesson. So, I just want to give you one thought today. I want to unpack this. The verse, if you want to look it up, I think we'll have it on the board, is from 1 Peter. And like I said, I thought about this. I got this from my pastor several years ago, and I listed on the slide the best advice I've ever been given, something like that. I thought, can I really say it's the best advice I've ever been given? And the answer is, I think so. I think this is really, really good advice. And so I want to share it with you. I want to unpack it a little bit. The verse reads like this. 1 Peter 6, 5, verse 6 and 7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him. Cast all your cares on him, because he cares for you. All right, so that's the verse. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your cares on him, because he cares for you. So, the question is, how does God care for us? Generally we feel he's up there and maybe beside us, maybe his Holy Spirit's in us, but how does God care for us? Well, I just want to read some verses, and again, you have to bear with me, reading these verses about what it means that God cares for us, all right? And we'll put some of the verses on the board, but really just listen. Let your mind just listen. Psalms 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. In Leviticus, talking to the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, out of bondage, out of slavery. Each of you must show respect to your mother and father, and you must always observe the Sabbath days of rest. I am the Lord your God. Do not strip every last bunch of grapes from the vine, and do not pick up the grapes that fall to the ground. Leave them for the poor and the foreigners that live in among you. I am the Lord your God. Don't steal. Do not deceive or cheat one another. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow Israelite, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Stand up in the presence of the elderly. Show respect for the aged. Fear your God. I am the Lord. Then we go to Isaiah. Isn't this the fast that I've been choosing, to loose the bonds of injustice, to untie the cords of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, to break every yoke? Isn't it to share your bread with the hungry, to bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, cover him with clothing. Do not raise yourself up from your own flesh and blood. Continuing on in Isaiah. Then, when you do these things, you will call, the Lord will answer you. You'll cry for help, and he'll respond. Here I am. If you do away with the yoke among you, the point of the fingers and the malicious talk, if you pour yourself out for the hungry, and you satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will be like noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your souls in parched places. Then you'll take delight in the Lord, and he will make you ride upon the heights of the earth. The bottom line is here, God cares for you, especially those that are brokenhearted, especially if you're hurting. We say on our team, we say, who's the most important person in the room? High schooler? No. most important person in any room at any time is the person who's hurting the most. As we try to figure that out, like who's hurting the most today? Did they have a bad day? Did they have a bad practice? Have they lost a loved one? Is their financial aid not working out? That's the most important person at that time. So God cares for us. His chief concern, not his only concern, but his chief concern is caring for others. He is watching and advising to see how we are caring for others. So caring for you and your care for others is a big deal to God. It's a big deal to God. So I'm a sophomore at Asbury College. Dr. Hogan and I, same year. Asbury similar in size and mission to Warner. And the Lord was really working in my heart. I had rededicated my life to the Lord. I changed my major from pre-med to phys ed. I'm telling you, it was the best thing I ever did. It was in my wheelhouse. And I had to call my parents, so they were like really disappointed I wasn't going to make the money maybe in the doctor, but changed my major. And I remember I was reading large portions of Scripture, and I got on my knees in my dorm room, and I said, Lord, I want to coach. I mean, that's what I'd like to do with my life, and I feel like maybe you wired me like that. You know, I feel like that's something that I could do. I love it. Felt like I had a little bit of success with it. I want to coach. And I will do whatever you want me to do. I will be your man. But that's my prayer. I lift that to you. And I was very specific. I mean, I can remember on my knees at my bed, and I had been moved out of the zoo. We lived in the zoo. The dorm was called the zoo. To the monastery. I know, some giggles there. But the dean just thought, man, his grades aren't very good. We got to get him over with the academic guys, the eggheads for a little bit. So my roommate he was from a different country. He didn't speak English very well, so we didn't talk that much. So I was kind of lonely. But that was my prayer. And I want to just say, in 2 minutes, I'm just going to tell you in 2 minutes how the Lord answered that prayer, which is unbelievable. First of all, He gave me a wife that understands coaching. I couldn't know that. I loved her. I thought she was attractive. You know, I mean, I sometimes say, you know, during exams week, I'd get a little nervous and say, maybe we should break up. I got to study. And then, boy, right about 2 weeks after, I was ready to smooch on her again. She looked great. She always took me back. But the Lord gave me a wife who understands coaching. We have 5 children. She brings all of our children, dresses them in orange and black. Those are our school colors. And goes to the games. She has been it takes a special woman to be married to a coach and understand a coach. And so the Lord blessed me with that as an answer to that prayer. In fact, just about 4 months ago, my wife gave our daughter, our first daughter, third child, a kidney. June the 20th. Gave her a kidney, and she's doing great. You can see her after the service. She ran a 5K last week, and our daughter who got the kidney walked a 5K. Just an amazing answer to prayer. So, I mean, you know, when you have 2 on the operating table, that's a stressful day. And boy, there were some tears that day, but the Lord has answered our prayers all along. So, in answer to that prayer, the wife that understands. Second, I wasn't a great player in college. In fact, I barely made the team if I did. And I was a better baseball player than a basketball player, but I decided I wanted to coach basketball. The Lord blessed me and allowed me to coach at the University of Kentucky. That is the winningest college basketball team of all time, you know, as far as the record. There was a time when I think North Carolina was ahead, but we found about 15 more wins back in 1910 or something, put them on the record books. But while I was there, we won a national championship. Here's the ring. I'm going to pass it around if anybody wants to look at it. National championship ring. And I know I'll get it back. I don't wear it that much. It's too big. I can't ride with it. If I lose it, I lose it. But there's only about 20 of those. And when I stopped, I had to work really hard to get to that spot, you know, but I just thought, you know, Lord, you had to bless me to be able to be on the national championship team. And we won in 1996. We had 9 players on our roster that were NBA players. So when your first 4 guys off the bench are NBA players, that's a pretty good squad. But we won. The Lord blessed me there. And then I've been at Greenville for 18 years. It's unheard of to be a coach somewhere for 18 years. And I don't really have any thoughts of leaving. And you can have an impact when you're at a place for that long. You can have impact. And so the Lord just has all along shown me that He answered, He honored that prayer. He cared for me. I wanted to coach. Like I said, Lord, I'll be your man, but this is kind of what I want to do. Is what I wanted to do. Why? National championship. 18 years. I called a coach at Oklahoma just a couple months ago, and I said, hey, you got a position on your staff for one of my guys who wants to coach? And he said, no, it's already taken. He said, Coach, how long have you been at Greenville? I said, this is my 18th year. He said, that's insane. People aren't, can't stay that long. And so that was just another reminder. Yeah, the Lord's really blessed me. So what does it mean to humble yourself under the mighty hand of God? It simply means to say, I can't do it, God. You know best. I need your Holy Spirit to guide me. I trust you, God, not me, to care for me. I trust you, God, not me, to care for me. So the next question is, how do we cast all of our cares, our anxiety on Him? Again, I got this from my pastor. I'm a PE guy. I don't know how to read Greek. But he said the word cast in the Greek translation is only used one other time in the New Testament. Okay? And that gives us some insight to what it means when the author, Peter, who was a guy who had fiery guidance, he had walked on the water, cuts off the centurion's ear. But he got it, sort of in the end. And what does it mean to cast all your cares, all your anxiety on the Lord? And he says, the parallel is found in Luke 19. If you want to turn there, I'm going to read a little bit of Luke 19. And you probably know the story. It's where Jesus had orchestrated his triumphal entry into Jerusalem just before crucifixion. So here it is, 10 verses. After Jesus had said this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As he approached Bethpage and Bethany, at the hill called Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you'll find a colt tied there, which no one's ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you why you untie it, say, the Lord needs it. Those who were sent ahead went and found it just as he had told. As they were untying the colt, his owners asked, why are you untying the colt? They replied, the Lord needs it. So they gave it. They brought it to Jesus, and they cast their cloaks on the colt and put Jesus on it. And as he went along, people spread their cloaks on the road, cast their cloaks on the road. When he came near the place where the road goes down to Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. So, casting your cares on Him is simply taking off your cares in the point of humility, to cast them onto God for His use and His glory. And then He will lift us up in His timing. So you have to ask yourself, what cares do I have? What anxieties are plaguing me? Where have I been wronged? Where do I feel inadequate? My challenge to you is tell it to Jesus as you would tell it to another person. So, I may say something to my wife. This guy at work, whatever. I feel mistreated. I don't know what the next step is. Jesus is saying, say that same thing to me. Just as He would say to you, say that same thing to me. Cast your cares on me. When He arrives on the scene, great things change. And then, trust that Jesus will lift us up in His time because He cares for us. So, one last story. I'm coaching at a rival school. Coach Butch, you may have been with me this time. We're playing Westminster. And we had really changed I felt the Lord called me to change my coaching philosophy, to really be about a 20-year return. Really be about building men for others. And we were implementing that. We were really implementing. That was the center of our model. It wasn't winning. I felt the Lord said, don't you teach winning, teach the kids that winning's a promised land. Instead, you work on their character, work on transforming them. And that's what, I'm calling you to do. Not Coach Patino, not any other. I calling you to do that. You prayed, you've seen how you've been blessed. This is what I'm calling you to do. And I said, okay, we're going to implement this. I visited a coach out west, a football coach. He wrote a book called Make the Big Time Where You Are, Frosty Restroom. So we were implementing these lessons. Coach Bucks was reading to the guys. We'd read to them, we'd give them lessons. And we weren't necessarily winning. In fact, it was a rough season. In fact, we probably had a losing record. And we were playing Westminster. We hadn't beaten them for years. And we were down about 10 with 10 minutes to go in the game. And my best player got his 4th foul. Now, I don't know if you know, you can only get 5 fouls, right? And then you're out of the game. So 10 minutes to go is a long time to leave a guy in, but I got to leave him in. He's my best player. And then another guy gets tangled up, falls down, gets up limping. He's making threes, and my assistant coach says, "Coach, you got to take this guy out. He can't hardly walk." I said, "He's making threes. I can't take him out." We found out later that the next day he had a broken leg. So, don't judge me. And he wanted to stay in the game just as much as I wanted him in the game. And the trainer came and said, he's got a broken leg. I said, yeah, a broken leg. He finished the game. He has a broken leg. So then he's out. But we won the game. We came back. So, I was sitting there, and there was a point in time that my feet on the floor, I was staying out just after timeout. I said, go to zone and protect the guy in the foul trouble guy. Go to zone and protect the guy who can't walk, he's making threes. And I look, and on the court, the name of the court, 1926, this guy, Henry Iva, graduated from Westminster College. Okay? Now, Henry Iva is, you don't know who he is, I understand that. Some of the group, the board of trustees, but he was a great coach. He's like the Mike Krzyzewski of today. He had won 2 Olympic gold medals, coaching Oklahoma A&M, and coaching USA basketball team, 2 gold medals, 2 national championships. And I saw my feet, toes, touching his name on that court. And this is what I said. I said, Lord, what am I doing out here? I just can't do this. I mean, we're just getting beat over and over. I'm trying to be your servant. Maybe potentially losing and keeping my witness would be better than winning because I'm doing things the way you want me to. But what am I doing out here? And like I said, we won the game. It was unbelievable. The Lord sort of answered. And so, He gave me a little bit of hope there. Say, keep going. Don't give up. It's okay. It's okay for your toes to be on Henry Iva's name. He's a great coach, and you just got to stick with it. And so again, I'm just going to ask you in closing, what cares do you have? What anxiety plagues you? Where have you been wrong? Where do you feel inadequate? Tell it to Jesus as if you would tell it to another person. There's a picture. This is Jesus in the entry into the Jerusalem. And I love the guy. Can you see him? He's bowed down like this. He has no shirt on. He has cast his cares. And I don't know, maybe the disciple in the middle there has the white on. Maybe that was his red coat that Jesus is riding on. But that's the visual image. Taking off the cares and casting them onto the Lord. And then tell it to Jesus as if you would tell it to another person. Trust that He will lift you up in His time because He cares for you. Humble yourselves and cast your cares on Him. He will lift you up at the proper time. Thank you so much for listening to me. I want to pray for you. Can I pray for you? I really have enjoyed being on your campus. Great things lie ahead. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I just ask a special blessing on Dr. Hogue as he is being inaugurated as third president of Warren University. Lord, empower him. We know, he knows that he needs your Holy Spirit. We know that we're somewhat effective in our own power, but we're very effective in your power. And so, Lord, I'm asking for that power to be given to him in this time period. And when things come up for him and the whole university as a whole, they would know to cast their cares on you, and that you'll lift them up at the proper time. Lord, bless this university, help it to grow, help it to thrive, help it to change people's lives here, help it to change people's lives in this community, in this state, in the world, in our nation and in the world. We pray for that to take place. Bless them, give them a special day tomorrow and a great future. Lord, we're praying for that. We will give you the honor and the glory. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Dismissed. You are dismissed.